Jake Johnson. I really do appreciate that warm introduction. Gary and April are fantastic people. Let's give them a round of applause. I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, haven't heard my story, where I come from, and the kind of race that we're going to run. So, Jake Johnson, math teacher, union leader, father of 4, and the person who is going to send Brad Finstead back to the private. Yeah! I grew up in Stewartville, just south of Rochester, and I grew up in a working class household, and that's putting it kindly, folks. My dad was a garbage man, my mom was a meter reader, and I have 10 siblings. Whoa. That is the correct response and reaction to that information. It was a 3-bedroom house, and you can do the math on that, folks. It was crazy. And so growing up like that, in a small town in southern Minnesota, we did have support from our local community that cared for us. We did have support from our school community that took care of us. We had support of our church community. We had support from extended family. So many people made sure to shepherd us along the way. And even with that support, we were also a SNAP family. We were also a Medicaid or medical assistance family. We went to the free dental clinic in Blooming Prairie because that's who would take our Medicare. And so growing up like that, I knew there were people shepherding us along the way, but we needed government support as well. And so when I went to college at UW La Crosse, I was a Pell Grant student. I was a subsidized Stafford Loans student. And I thank God that there were people along the way and a government that said, Jake, you are worth investing in. Because I got my teaching degree in La Crosse, and then I quickly came back to the right side of the river here. Not too much time in Wisconsin for me, thank you very much. And I've been teaching math in Rochester for the last 20 years. 16 at John Marshall, the past 4 at Mayo High School. My wife is a paraprofessional at Willow Creek. She works with deaf and hard of hearing kids to make sure they get the support and services that they need. We've got 4 boys in public school, 15, 13, 11, and 8 years old. And I will tell you what, the grocery bills are something to behold, folks. It's wild. It is wild. You didn't know people could eat that much food in one sitting until you see a group of adolescent boys sit down and just devour food like it's going out of style.
In a couple years.
You know, Lord help us. And so I love my job. I'm still teaching right now, actually. I love my job. And when people ask, Jake, what got you into this race? If you love your job, why do this? This is hard work. You're away from your family and your friends. Why do this? Well, you guys know who our representative is here in southern Minnesota. And well said. And so when I started to take a look at the values that Brad Finstead was representing, when I started to see him stand up and be a proud member of the Doge Caucus, when I saw him go after Medicaid and SNAP, when I saw him disembowel the Department of Education, USAID, start to attack the Social Security infrastructure, I started to see that we have a representative, unfortunately, here in southern Minnesota, who does not, in fact, share the values that so many of us hold dear. And so when I did have a former student reach out to me and say, hey, Mr. Johnson, I think you should run for Congress. I said, wow, that's crazy. No way. That's really hard. I don't know if I can do that. But I tell my students all the time, Abby included, Use your talents, use your skills, use your opportunities to go make the world a better place. And so when Nick, who's now my campaign manager, said to me, "Hey, Mr. Johnson, remember that thing about talent, skills, and opportunity?" And I started to look around and say, nobody's coming to save us, folks. There's no cavalry that's coming to save us. Look around this room. This is the cavalry. We are here, and it is our time to change this country for the better, to make sure that it is the place we want to be. So I jumped into this race on April 17th, and it started with listening. It started with listening to folks and talking to folks and figuring out exactly what it is that is going to win this election. And I think it's pretty clear to me the kind of message that we need to run on, the things we need to speak about, and the opportunities that are presenting themselves largely because of Republican ineptitude. Number one. We need to be talking about affordability. We have got to be, as Democrats, if we want to get back into some of these rural spaces, if we want to actually connect meaningfully with voters again in rural spaces, we've got to do it authentically, we've got to show up, and we've got to say, these tariffs are an unmitigated disaster for our rural communities. See, a lot of people, consumers, see tariffs as a tax. That's what they are. They're a tax, right? We pay more because of the tariffs. Everybody understands that. But people in agricultural communities experience it on both ends. Yeah, the cost of inputs are going up, but guess what else? Export markets are being absolutely eviscerated right now. And it's the fault of this executive branch and a go-along Congress that has completely abdicated its responsibility. It says in the Constitution who is in charge of tariffs, and it is Article 1, Section 8. Congress is in charge of tariffs. Where is Brad Finstead? Exactly. Nobody can find him, right? Nobody can find this guy because these tariffs implemented by President Trump have caused, you've seen the stories, 0 soybeans sold to China, our biggest buyer this entire year.
Yep.
Our soybean farmers, we grow 2 million acres in southern Minnesota, and our soybean farmers who have a record yield, who did their job, did what they were supposed to do, are now told, hope there's a bailout. And that bailout that is reported in the range of $10 to $14 billion is coming on the heels of $20 billion being sent to Argentina so they could undercut our soybean prices. Come on, people, what are we doing here? And so we got to hold Brad Finstead accountable for these tariffs that are absolutely destroying our agricultural communities and their economies. And we need people to understand, in this district, a vote for Jake Johnson is a vote to end harmful tariffs, period. That's opportunity number one. Opportunity number two, unfortunately, is in healthcare. While we are an agricultural leader, we are also supposed to be a healthcare leader. And what are we seeing? In the big, beautiful bill, as they have dubbed it, $1 trillion cut from healthcare so that we could give $4 trillion in tax cuts to billionaires. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a math teacher, and I can tell you it doesn't add up. Right? It does not add up. And so when the Mayo Clinic says we're closing 4 clinics in Congressman Finstead's district and restricting care at a 5th, somebody needs to ask him, what are you doing here? Right? Because Yep, because here's the thing. If you live in a rural community and you voted Republican in the past, not only is your economy under attack, your access and cost of health care is also under attack by this administration.
Absolutely.
So, if it's not agriculture, and it's not affordability, and it's not health care, the thing I hear more than anything else is, where is this guy?
Yeah.
Where is our representative? Right? Where is Brad Finstead? Because here's the thing, folks. You might have put in a phone call. You might have sent an email. You might have asked for a town hall meeting. And here's the thing. To your phone call, you were probably treated rudely. To your email, you were probably given an insulting form letter.
Absolutely.
That had nothing to do with the concern that you raised.
Yes.
And let's not even get started on the town halls. My goodness, we know that's not happening. And so that's why on our campaign, I have already been in every single county in this district. 21 counties already. And very early on in our campaign, I told our staff, and they kind of looked at me like, really? That's what we're going to do? I said, yeah, we're going to do it. We're holding 21 town hall meetings across this district, one for every single county. Because, yep. Because at the very least, whether we agree or we disagree, people deserve a representative who shows up. We can answer questions, we can solve problems, we can do it as neighbors, and we can start to figure out, how do we get back to having a voice in Washington that we have now been missing for the last couple of terms. And I can tell you something for sure. This is not a foreign concept to our district. We have had it before, and I know it personally. When I was growing up, my stepdad was a Vietnam War veteran. He served 3 tours. He was wounded. He had shrapnel in the back of his neck. When he finally passed away, he was my family, my mom and my 6 siblings that were still in the home at the time, were entitled to survivorship benefits through the VA. My mom was trying to fill out the paperwork. She was trying to communicate with the VA and was having a tough time. She came to me and said, Jake, what am I supposed to do? I could really use this help. She was working toward her nurse's degree, but she wasn't there yet. I said, I don't know, let's reach out to our congressman. And I thank God that in 2008, our congressman was Tim Walz. Because if you know Tim, or even if you don't, you probably can guess, Tim did not run my mom through some partisan filter. He did not staff her out to somebody who would just disregard her. 2 days later, Tim Walz himself, sitting congressman, called my mother on the phone and said, don't worry, ma'am, we're going to take care of this for you. 5 days after that phone call, 5 days after talking to Tim, my mom got her first survivorship benefit that bridged her over to her nursing job at the Mayo Clinic. See, that's a spirit of service. That's what we deserve. That's what every citizen deserves. Whether you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, we deserve that kind of service from our congressperson. And we are going to bring it back to that office next year. So how's it going so far? Since April 17th, we have raised, with 0 corporate PAC money, over $500,000. We are provisionally endorsed by the DFL. We have volunteers in every single county. So how do we make sure that when we wake up on November 4th, 2026, we feel good about the effort that we put in and that we've got different representation? Let me tell you how you can help out the Jake Johnson for Congress campaign. 1, donate. If you've already donated, thank you so much. If you haven't yet donated, donate again. Okay? Talk to Shelly right there. Okay? Shelly is one of our fabulous volunteers, and so if you have donated or if you haven't donated, talk to Shelly. Make a donation today. Don't leave before you do. Because here's the thing: people-powered campaigns, people-funded campaigns happen when people say, you know what, it's up to me. It's up to me and my name. I'd love to donate. I can't donate for a couple weeks though because I don't get my Social Security check until then. God bless you. You don't need to donate. But you know what you could do? Find a way to volunteer. Find a way to volunteer. Right? And so if you go to jakejohnsonforcongress.com, there's a volunteer tab. You put in your information and you check the boxes for the things that might work for you. Okay? It's really simple. It's really easy. There's cards all over the tables. Find one of us, because we all have talents, we all have time, and some of us have treasures. And if we all give what we can give, we're going to wake up next year after Election Day, and Brad Finstead will no longer be our representative, and we'll feel good about where we are at. With that, I thank you so much. I thank you so much for your time, for your passion, for your energy, and your enthusiasm. Because the reality is right now, folks, we are in a dark place in this country. But we have been there before. We've been through 2 world wars, and we found our way out on the other side. We continuously strive to be our very best country, seeking something better tomorrow than what we have today. And so it's only going to happen one day at a time by working incredibly hard. And if we do it, we will continue to fulfill what our nation is about, which is seeking a brighter future than the present and the past that we have now seen. Thank you so much, Mower County. You guys are the absolute best. I love you. Thank you.